the Equal Protection Clause and under other applicable Georgia and federal law, these other similarly situated, similarly sized lots have automobile sales, and my client is being precluded from having automobile sales. And interestingly, I made an inquiry with the city, and while automotive sales would be prohibited without the variances on my client's property, Aero Pest Control could make it one of their offices and park 30 Ford Rangers. Or the landscaper next door could make these properties their office and park all of their landscape equipment. Or an HVAC person could have their HVAC vehicles. And in fact, to the one shot east of 1650 Roswell is Brownlow Construction. And Brownlow Construction has dumpsters out back and equipment and trucks. It's all in a fenced yard, and it looks fine from the street, so I'm not disparaging them either. My point is that if we are in the city has to have zoning that is fair and equitable to everyone. And just because these automobiles he's selling are the sale of automobiles, and people will argue that too many automobiles is offensive. But if they say Mr. Sparky on them, or Superior Plumbing, or Arrow, you can have them on that property. Over the past year or so, all of these little car lots, for one reason or another, have been run out. And on Powers Ferry, near along where Mr. Barth's zone is, they're all nothing now. There's nothing there. So you run out the little car dealerships, and now there's nothing. Where Carology used to be is nothing. And there's in the 200 block of Powers Ferry, there were 3 or 4 little car lots, and now those buildings have been for lease for a year or two. More interestingly is Leader, which was on South Marietta Parkway. They got kicked out, and now we're going to have an EBT store there. It's going to be really great. I'll probably stop. Instead of getting my toilet paper at Sam's for $20 for 50 of them, I'm going to go to the EBT store and buy 4 of them for $10. And now we're going to get an EBT store along that road. And I'm not sure, as a city, if that's a better solution. Based on that express statement by Ms. Randolph, a city employee, I'm not going to get into the tinfoil hat piece about people bribing people. There's no evidence of that. It's just silly. It is. It's just silly, and I'm not going to get into it. But my client detrimentally relied on a statement made by a city official. And he spent $700,000 or $800,000. Well, let's just talk about the one property. He spent $300,000 or $400,000 on this property and been operating there. Back to your question, so I'm sorry.
Detrimentally relied on what you're calling a city official, but was a city employee.
As a member of the general public, when a police officer tells me that I can't be there, I don't go there. When Ms. Randolph comes to my law office and says, "Cut your grass, sir," you know what we did? We cut our grass. And when the city came to him and said, "Sir, you can't have cars here," and he didn't move the cars the next day, you know what they did? They issued a summons for him to come to court. And when he got the day, I went over and I continued the court date when I made an entry of appearance, and he didn't appear, and code enforcement in the city office didn't know that I had continued the case. And you know what they did? Two officers came to his lot with a warrant. So this isn't just suggestions. This is really nice post hoc to say a city employee said something we can't rely on. As a member of the general public, I rely on what city employees say.
So you rely on what city employees say, though Mr. Sarkeesian in 2016 received notice from code enforcement that he was improperly storing vehicles. So he was told that, but you don't rely on that?
I, in fact, do rely on it, and I represented him in that matter. See, what happens is sometimes the city might make a mistake. But I have the business, I know, right?
Ms. Randolph says it's okay, but you've got years of licenses that state a fact, but you chose to ignore that.
Because Ms. Randolph said that that's what they would say.
from our position from 2016, it has always been, it's a broker. You cannot sell vehicles here.
Well, that's a very convenient position to have
As is
after
yours.
someone enters into a contract.
As is yours. Yours is very convenient
Well, of
that
course.
you relied
Yeah.
on.
Right, my client spent
Mitchell, Mr.
$700,000 in Reliance. The city hasn't spent anything.
Stop.
1650 is unoccupied. It has no use other than there's car storage there. Well, prior to my client purchasing it in 2023, it's been a law office. It's been a lot of different things, a hydrotherapy, a lot of need for hydrotherapy and massage. It's been a lot of things for the past 30 years, but it hasn't been anything since my client purchased it.
It couldn't be under today's current ordinance. Do you agree with that?
I don't. Quality Auto in the past year or two was able to come to this council and have variances passed, which allowed them to be 10 feet from residential.
Under today's ordinance, is this a conforming business?
It can be with a variance, similar to those that have been given to everyone else up and down the street. That's why we're here. We are here asking for mercy to say, this is the rule, we're asking for an adjustment to the rule. And then me as the attorney is stacking on this, putting everyone on notice that other people are doing it and my client wants to be treated equally. And if they're not treated equally, then we'll have to see what happens. We want to be treated, my client wants to be treated just like Quality Auto. My client, in fact, Optima Motors next to the Marietta Coffee Company has only been open for 30 days.